Right now, someone you care about is talking to someone else. And that feeling you just got, that instant spike of anxiety, that knot in your stomach, that voice in your head saying they're stealing them away from me, that's jealousy, and it's controlling you. Jealousy is one of the most powerful emotions humans experience. It can destroy relationships, ruin friendships, and literally drive people insane. But most people don't understand what jealousy actually is. They think it's about love. They think it's about insecurity. But the truth is far more complex. And in this video, I'm breaking down the psychology of jealousy, why you feel it, why it controls you, and how to actually take control back. Stay tuned. If psychology fascinates you, subscribe and hit the bell. We release brain science that changes your life every single week. Okay, so let's start with the basics. What is jealousy? Because most people confuse jealousy with envy. They're not the same thing. Envy is when you want what someone else has. You see your friend with a fancy car, and you feel envious. You want that car. Jealousy is completely different. Jealousy is the fear of losing something you already have. It's the fear that someone or something is being taken from you. So jealousy requires 3 elements. 1. Something you value. 2. The threat of losing it. And 3. A third party who might take it away. Without all 3 of those elements, it's not really jealousy. The evolutionary roots of jealousy are fascinating. Let's go back 50,000 years. You're living in a small tribe. Survival depends on having a strong partner. Your partner is your survival. They provide resources, they provide protection, they provide children who carry on your genes. Now, imagine your partner starts spending time with someone else, talking to them more, laughing with them, touching them. What do you feel? Terror. Because you're about to lose your most valuable resource. And if you lose your partner, you might die. You might not survive. So your brain developed an incredibly powerful alarm system. That alarm system is jealousy. When there's a threat to your most valuable relationship, jealousy activates. It floods your body with stress hormones. It clouds your judgment. It makes you do things you wouldn't normally do. Because from an evolutionary perspective, doing something crazy to protect your relationship is better than losing that relationship and dying. But here's the thing about evolution. Your brain is still running on programming from 50,000 years ago. But you're not living in a tribe where losing your partner means death. You're reliving in a modern world where your partner can talk to other people without it being a threat to your survival. But your brain doesn't know that. Your jealousy doesn't know that. So you feel like you're dying when your partner texts someone else. Now let's talk about what happens in your brain when you experience jealousy. The limbic system activates. That's your emotional center. The amygdala starts firing. That's your fear center. Your cortisol levels spike. That's your stress hormone. Your dopamine drops. That's your pleasure chemical. Essentially, your body is in a state of crisis. But there's no actual crisis. You're just perceiving a threat. And here's what's interesting about jealousy in the brain. It's actually one of the most addictive emotional states, because it activates your dopamine system. When you're jealous, your brain is hyperalert. You're scanning for threats. You're monitoring your partner's behavior. You're checking their phone. You're looking for evidence that they're betraying you. And every time you find a little piece of evidence, your brain releases dopamine. It's solving the mystery. It's protecting you. And that feels good. So jealousy becomes self-perpetuating. You feel jealous. You look for evidence. You find evidence. You feel validated in your jealousy. You look for more evidence. It's a loop. And this is where jealousy becomes dangerous. Because you start creating evidence that doesn't exist. You start interpreting innocent interactions as threats. Your partner smiles at the barista. That's flirting. Your partner compliments a coworker. That's romantic interest. Your partner is late coming home. They must be with someone else. Your brain is literally manufacturing reasons to be jealous. Because jealousy is addictive. Your brain likes the dopamine hit of solving the mystery. Let's talk about the different types of jealousy. There's reactive jealousy. This is when you actually catch your partner doing something that threatens the relationship. They're flirting with someone else. They're texting an ex. They're spending suspicious time with someone. This is jealousy based in reality. And then there's suspicious jealousy. This is when you suspect your partner is doing something wrong. But you don't have concrete evidence. You're reading into their behavior. You're interpreting things in the worst possible way. And then there's preemptive jealousy. This is the worst kind. This is when you're jealous of people who might be a threat in the future. You're jealous of your partner's attractive coworker. You're jealous of their ex. You're jealous of their best friend. You haven't caught them doing anything. They haven't given you any real reason to be suspicious. But you're jealous anyway. You're protecting against a threat that doesn't exist yet. Now here's something interesting about jealousy. It's not about the other person. It's about you. Jealousy is really about your own insecurity. When you're jealous, what you're really saying is, I'm not good enough. My partner will leave me for someone better. I can't compete. The jealousy is a projection of your own inadequacy. And here's the evidence. People with high self-esteem experience less jealousy. People with low self-esteem experience more jealousy. People who have been betrayed before experience more jealousy. People who grew up with insecure attachment styles experience more jealousy. People with narcissistic traits experience intense jealousy because they're queuing to handle the idea that their partner might have other connections. Jealousy is fundamentally about your relationship with yourself. Let me give you a real example. This is Marcus and Jennifer. They've been together for 3 years. Marcus is successful, attractive, intelligent, but he has deep insecurity about his worth. He grew up with a father who was constantly critical, so Marcus is always convinced that he's not enough, that Jennifer is going to find someone better. Jennifer starts a new job. She talks about her new coworker David. David sounds nice. David is smart. David made her laugh, and Marcus loses it. He becomes obsessed with David. He checks Jennifer's phone. He asks her questions about David. He accuses her of being attracted to David. Jennifer hasn't done anything wrong. She's just made a new friend. But Marcus is convinced she's cheating. Why? Because Marcus's insecurity is running the show. His jealousy isn't about Jennifer's behavior. It's about his belief that he's not good enough to keep her. Now let's talk about what jealousy does to your brain long term. Chronic jealousy rewires your neural pathways. You literally become a more suspicious, paranoid person. The more jealous you are, the more jealous you become. Because you're training your brain to look for threats. You're strengthening the neural pathways that say people are untrustworthy and people will betray you. And this creates a self-fulfilling prophecy. You become so suspicious that your partner actually does start to pull away. They feel controlled. They feel distrusted. They feel like no matter what they do, it's not enough. So they start to actually have feelings for someone else. Not because they were planning to cheat, but because your jealousy drove them into someone else's arms. Jealousy also damages your mental health significantly. Chronic jealousy is associated with anxiety disorders, depression, obsessive-compulsive disorder, even psychosis in extreme cases. People with intense jealousy often develop rumination patterns where they can't stop thinking about the perceived threat. They lose sleep. They lose appetite. They lose the ability to focus on anything else in their life. Their work suffers. Their health suffers. Their friendships suffer. Everything deteriorates because jealousy is consuming all their mental energy. Let me tell you about a real case study. This is Sarah. Sarah has been in a relationship with Tom for 5 years. They live together. They have plans to get married. But Sarah's jealousy is destroying everything. It started small. She didn't like when Tom would go out with his friends. She didn't like when he would talk about his ex. But over time, it escalated. She started checking his phone. She started accusing him of cheating. She interrogated him about where he was and who he was with. Tom felt suffocated. He felt like a prisoner in his own relationship. He begged Sarah to get help, but Sarah couldn't see that the problem was her. She was convinced that Tom was cheating and that her jealousy was justified. Eventually, Tom left, and Sarah's response was to spiral into obsession. She couldn't accept that the relationship was over because her jealousy wasn't satisfied. She needed proof of his infidelity to justify her feelings, even though there was no infidelity. Tom left because of her jealousy, not because he was cheating. So what causes jealousy? What are the underlying factors? First, attachment style. If you grew up with an insecure attachment style, if your parents were inconsistent or unreliable, you're more likely to be jealous. Because you learned early on that people leave, that people can't be trusted, that relationships are unstable. Second, past trauma. If you've been betrayed before, if you've experienced infidelity, you're more likely to be jealous. Your brain is hypervigilant for threats because you've experienced that threat before. Third, low self-esteem. If you don't believe you're worthy of love, you're going to be jealous. You're going to be convinced that your partner will find someone better. Fourth, narcissistic traits. If you have an inflated sense of self, you can't handle the idea that your partner might be interested in someone else, because that threatens your ego. Fifth, insecure relationship dynamics. If your relationship has real problems, real trust issues, real infidelity, then jealousy is a symptom of those problems. It's not the cause. Now here's the key distinction. Some jealousy is normal. Some jealousy is healthy. If your partner is actually flirting with someone else, it's normal to feel jealous. If your partner is spending time with an ex-partner, it's normal to feel some jealousy. The jealousy is an alarm telling you that there's a real threat to your relationship. But most jealousy isn't based in reality. Most jealousy is based in insecurity and fear. So how do you know if your jealousy is reasonable or unreasonable? Ask yourself these questions. First, is there actual evidence of a threat? Not your interpretation of events. Not your feeling that something is wrong. Actual, concrete evidence. Second, does your partner have a history of being unfaithful? Or are you assuming they will be based on your own insecurity? Third, are your partner's actions actually suspicious? Or are you interpreting innocent actions as suspicious? Fourth, would a neutral observer agree that there's a real threat? Or would they think you're being paranoid? If you can't answer yes to these questions, then your jealousy is unreasonable. It's based in your insecurity, not in reality. Here's what jealousy actually feels like in your body. First, there's the physical response. Your heart rate increases. Your breathing becomes shallow. You feel a tightness in your chest. You might feel nauseous. You might feel dizzy. Your body is in fight or flight mode. Then there's the cognitive response. Your thinking becomes distorted. You catastrophize. You assume the worst. You interpret ambiguous information as evidence of betrayal. You lose the ability to think clearly or rationally. Then there's the emotional response. You feel afraid. You feel angry. You feel hurt. You feel inadequate. You feel like you're losing control. And finally, there's the behavioral response. You become possessive. You become controlling. You check phones. You check location history. You interrogate your partner. You spy on them. You do things that would be completely unacceptable in any other context. But jealousy makes you do these things. Now let's talk about how to actually manage jealousy. This is important. First, you need to understand that jealousy is telling you something about yourself, not about your partner. When you feel jealous, pause. Don't act on it. Don't interrogate your partner. Don't check their phone. Just sit with the feeling. Ask yourself, what am I really afraid of? Am I afraid they'll leave me? Am I afraid I'm not good enough? Am I afraid of being alone? The jealousy is a symptom. The real issue is underneath. Second, you need to work on your self-esteem. This is crucial. If you don't believe you're worthy of love, you'll always be jealous. Because you'll always be convinced that your partner will find someone better. You need to genuinely believe that you're enough, that you're worthy of love, that your partner is with you because they want to be, not because they can't do better. Third, you need to address your attachment wounds. If you grew up with insecure attachment, you need to heal that. Therapy can help. Working on building secure attachment patterns can help. Understanding why you learned to fear abandonment can help. Fourth, you need to build trust. Real trust. Not the kind where you check your partner's phone and feel reassured. Real trust where you believe in your partner, has character and your relationship even when you aren't have perfect information. And here's the hardest part. You need to accept uncertainty. You can never have 100% certainty that your partner won't cheat. You can never have 100% certainty that they won't leave you. You can never have 100% control over the relationship. That uncertainty is part of being in a relationship. And if you can't accept that uncertainty, you can't be in a healthy relationship. Because you'll spend your entire time trying to eliminate the uncertainty through control. And that control will destroy the relationship. Now, I need to address something important. If your partner is actually being unfaithful, if they're actually betraying your trust, that's different. That's not about your jealousy. That's about their behavior. And you need to address that directly. You need to have an honest conversation. You need to decide whether the relationship is worth saving. But most people aren't actually dealing with infidelity. Most people are dealing with their own insecurity manifesting as jealousy. Here's the paradox of jealousy. The more you try to control your partner to prevent them from cheating, the more likely they are to cheat, because you're driving them away. You're making them feel suffocated. You're making them feel like they can't be trusted. And eventually, they'll leave or they'll cheat just to escape the control. The irony is that jealousy creates the very thing it's trying to prevent. So here's what I want you to do. If you struggle with jealousy, recognize it. Don't pretend it's not a problem. Don't justify it as love. Jealousy isn't love. Love is trust. Love is security. Love is allowing your partner to have a life outside of the relationship. Jealousy is fear. Jealousy is insecurity. Jealousy is control. Once you see jealousy for what it is, you can start to address it. You can start to heal the underlying insecurity. You can start to build real trust. And you can start to have the kind of relationship that's actually healthy and secure. If this video resonated with you, please like it, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you don't miss future videos on psychology and relationships that actually change your life. Next week, I'm breaking down the psychology of attachment styles, why you love the way you love, and it's going to blow your mind. Don't miss it. See you in the next one.